Travel provides a guest engagement SaaS platform for the hospitality industry. They act as personalized chat-based service to travelers, answering their questions in real time, offering travel services and recommendations. Please take a look at Travel's introduction video.
Please help me welcome Ian and Travel.
Hi, I'm Ian from Travel, here to share more about how we consolidate the travel industry by empowering travel and hospitality businesses to serve travelers, their guests, more seamlessly through chat automated by AI.
Travel, please start sharing your screen. In Multi-Vietnam, you're going to be up next. Please get ready. Okay, Travel, I can see that you are ready. You will have 5 minutes to pitch and your time will start right now.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Ian again. I'm here to share more about our business. And I think most of you are travelers yourself, so you know the problems that you face as a traveler. For the travel industry, we are actually faced with similar issues that the hotels want to serve their guests like yourself. They come in through multiple channels on Facebook, on their websites, on their emails, and you can ask questions to the hotels on their inquiries, reservations, either to make it or to inquire about your reservation and edit it, but also to check in and also to get to your concierge needs. This is actually a very, very common repetitive questions that come in through multiple channels from yourself, from your friends, family, and other travelers likewise. This very fragmented market, interestingly, is not limited to the hotels itself, but you see that in attractions as well as travel agencies, which leads to very high manpower costs and very fragmented market across these different agencies, but yet lead to very low guest satisfaction when you don't get the answers that you want immediately. So what we really hope to do in Travel is to help these businesses within their channels, their Facebook, their website, their emails, to help them to seamlessly engage you as a guest through the conversations, where we help automate this through APIs and bots, and ultimately building this travel ecosystem where we're able to help cross-sell the services to the different businesses. So imagine that you as a hotel guest can go onto their Facebook, ask them questions about check-in time, how to get to their hotels, modify, make your reservation, or even just check in whether your reservation is confirmed, and do check-in entirely on the chat. But more than that, ask questions, for example, if you're coming to Singapore, about Universal Studios Singapore, get the tickets there. And when you don't get our AI to answer the questions that you need, that the agents from the Universal Studios Singapore are actually stepping into the same conversation and answering the questions for you. For you as a traveler, your user journey from pre-trip and guest engagement is on through multiple platforms. So guests and travelers are able to communicate with the hotels or the travel businesses through their Facebook, their WhatsApp, their emails, their website, Telegram, mobile application, and all these are consolidated onto one platform for their live agent to reply. And this is blended by artificial intelligence that we have built. This helps to answer the easier questions first, and ultimately the live agents to take over where their bots or the AI is not able to answer effectively. The hotels or the travel businesses are also able to set the accuracy in which they want the system or AI to reply, and that enables 5-star hotel to set at a higher accuracy versus a guest house or a hostel that might just try to use our system to answer any questions possible. Reservations can be retrieved on the conversation itself as we are directly connected to the property management systems that the hotel use. And this allows you as a traveler to make bookings directly on the chat itself. During the trip, check-in, concierge, and checkout can ultimately be all done within the same platform that you land on, and concierge is where our travel ecosystem has fully focused on. This is the check-in process that our guests or travelers are generally exposed to, where they retrieve the bookings through the property management system, upload their passport as well as a selfie to ensure that the facial recognition is a match, ultimately making payments for deposit, outstanding balance on a payment platform within the chat itself, and going straight to your room with digital PIN codes or Bluetooth access that is tied to the digital locks within the property. We understand that not all hotels are looking to change their infrastructure to a digital locks infrastructure, and we enable the system to be done entirely up to the step where you just receive the keys from the front desk without having to do the entire check-in process at the location itself. We know that travel and hospitality industry has been hit severely by the COVID-19 situation. and we are all stuck in lockdown and thus this virtual event. But that actually doesn't limit and stop the progress of travel. Everybody knows travel will return, and ultimately even with a vengeance, that more travelers will travel more frequently once the lockdown is lifted and people are able to travel more freely with the social distancing measures in place. What we help the hotels to do is to promote this social distancing and safe distancing measures, ultimately digitizing and retraining the staff. We have customers that have retrenched more than 50% of their staff within the hotel groups. But ultimately, our position is to allow them to digitize before travel returns and hopefully not have to reduce the need for rehiring when the operation needs are back to 100%. So we actually saw an increase in sales in the past 2 months where hotels are starting to understand and realize that the need for digitization going forward. The value that we bring to the hotels is clear. Ultimately, what it means to us as a company as Travel, location, meaning that our travel ecosystem will become a really valuable tool in helping a traveler in answering any questions that they have landing in, say, in Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh, or in Hanoi. Our revenue model is a very clear B2B SaaS model. We charge our businesses a fee to use our technology, but ultimately we're moving towards the complementary services side where if in the occasion where you travel to Singapore and buy a Universal Studios ticket through the conversation of the hotel, that we profit share the amount that we earn from the commission for selling the tickets with the hotel. And you as a traveler paying the exact same price that you would pay at the door of Universal Studios. The market in travel space is huge. And for ourselves, our main market is in Singapore, expanded into Japan, Korea, as well as Taiwan, ultimately looking at potentially expanding to Vietnam as our first Southeast Asia region to be more focused in, given the drive and the growth of tourism numbers in the increasing years. I was very, very glad to come after Ambassador sharing because I think the focus in Vietnam's tourism industry has been ultimately growing with a lot of tourism development fund that's been helped and put into inbound tourism and moving towards a more future digital economy movement with a development strategy in tourism specifically. The current tourism productivity is still relatively low, which we feel that we can help very significantly. As you know, the industry is thwarted with many different kind of chatbot developers and self-check-in solutions. And I'm sure you see many of that in Vietnam as well. But for ourselves, we actually position ourselves closer to customer service support platforms like Zendesk, Intercom. We're able to serve the travel and hospitality space a lot more fruitfully and a lot more seamlessly. What this means is also that chatbot developers and self-check-in solutions are actually complementary technology partners to us, and we don't actually need to own the entire technology within that space. We started in Singapore, expanded into Korea through our Techstars Korea Accelerator, and we just completed Facebook Accelerator Demo Day recently. But ultimately, what we're most proud of is this self-check-in platform that we set up in 2019 for a chain of hotels here in Singapore that entirely removed their front desk. So they have no front desk at the hotels currently. We are serving 3,000 guests per day in 2019 with our revenue at $500,000, more than double that this year projected. Myself, this is my second startup. I used to be in venture capital and a startup consultant previously. And our CTO has more than 15 years in the AI space in technology with our rest of our team in marketing experience and sales. What we are looking for here today is small businesses in the travel industry space that we can work more closely with in Vietnam, but also partners like yourself if you are businesses in the technology space to integrate with. Ultimately, investors to help us scale and strategically and grow in Vietnam as a market. Thank you so much for listening to me. I'm Ian from Travel. You can reach me at ian@travel.co.
Thank you so much, Travel, for a great presentation. And now let's turn to the Q&A session. Judges, please be Travel's guests.
Hi, Ian. This is Ken Nguyen. Excellent presentation. Two quick questions. I'm sure like all of the judges, today I travel extensively and I typically have like one or two go-to platform to book my hotel. And the last thing I need is going on another platform or even communicating on Facebook or whatever, right? On Hotel Tonight or Expedia. Obviously, I'm based in the US. So I'm very curious about the demographic of customers who would want to engage with the hotel staff so actively that this would be very helpful. And admittedly, that's probably a different segment than I am. So, and related to that is the user acquisition strategy here, because you have over time, a two-sided, not quite marketplace, but you have to look at customers and then the hotels separately. The Starwoods Hotel have their own system. You got to go out there and look at, identify boutique hotels and convince them to onboard an entire new customer service system, which is not an easy thing to do or scale. So would love to get a little bit more insight on how you're thinking about these issues.
Right, great. Thank you so much, Kendrick. Like, I know I can't fool any of you on the judges panel because you're definitely frequent travelers yourself. We actually engage our customers. So generally you book on hotels.com, Agoda, booking.com, and the format and the user journey doesn't change. So by booking on those platforms and understanding that this hotel that we are serving is a self-check-in platform, a self-check-in hotel, that they would then be able to direct you to link up to kind of their website or their Facebook to do the self-check-in. And we understand that many of these people don't read your confirmation emails that you get from Agoda or booking.com. What that means is that most of the guests, about 60% of these guests actually arrives at the hotel and then come to this realization at the lobby that is the self-check-in hotel with all the necessary information at the lobby itself, where they can do the self-check-in in the comfort of the lobby before they enter their rooms. So there are generally like community managers that purely focus on service, that serves the welcome drinks and kind of welcome you towards to the hotel. So we understand that, and that's the shift that we will not change. We will not change the user and traveler's journey and the experience. But what that means also is because like we understand that without the self-check-in solution, chatbot companies are facing huge issues in engaging the users, right? Because we are seeing that in 10-20% of the guests actually landing on the chat itself to engage with the hotels. But for a self-check-in platform on the chat itself, we actually have 100% of the guests landing on the chat. So that allows the hotel to directly manage and talk to the guests to shift that physical interaction to a digital interaction space. And I think that's where we are very, very well adept for the post-COVID travel. I hope that answers your questions. But
yes, super smart.
Yeah, definitely that's a
It's Mike Edelhart. I have two questions. One, just an information point. So your focus is in Singapore. Is your company based in Vietnam now?
Right. So we're definitely looking to set up an entity in Vietnam to expand aggressively into Vietnam, especially with the support of Viet Challenge. I think we definitely have gotten a lot of mentors, a lot of help, a lot of support. We definitely hope to get that continuing going forward. Why Vietnam, as I was sharing within the slides, like that's.
But I want to be clear. Right now, your company is based in Singapore. Is that correct?
That's right. We are currently based in Singapore, HQ here, and we have an office in Japan and Korea.
That's okay. Thank you. And the second question is about security. So if you turn through the chat my phone into the key and I get at the phone, do I get access to the room, and do you have liability for theft and other security breaches that might come through that breach?
Right. That's definitely a huge issue in security. So all data information, like we collect passports and all that, are pushed directly through APIs to our third-party like systems. So your property management system, for example. So we don't keep any of this information that are sensitive by nature. And where the hotel keeps it originally, like the property management system, it still lands there. So there's no change in the SOPs for security for the hotel. As for your keys, the questions about your keys, the keys are tied to the phones or to the conversation. And I think that's very much the same as how you would if a physical key or physical card. Like if you drop your card key or if you drop your physical key, that people are able to access your room as well. So I think in terms of security concerns, it's exactly the same. If you lose your phone, you could disable your phone, you could do your find your phone, and it's actually a lot safer than a physical card key. By entering the rooms using the Bluetooth, we are able to verify that it's a guest, that we have taken your passport and your photo with a selfie. So that allows us an additional security instead of just passing keys around in that case. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Ian. This is Denny Cowger.
Hi.
Hi, I just had a question. For your customers in Singapore, what has been the biggest challenge for them, would you say, that, or complaints that they've made since using your platform?
Right. So it's two prongs. I think Kendrick was rightly stating that we have both travelers as well as the hotels and the clients. The hotels and clients are easing into the systems. I think the SOPs are in place. I think the original difficulty that we were facing pre-COVID is that we were good to have solution, I think. And that answers Kendrick's questions about difficulty in getting our solution out there. And it was even more difficult to try to get into Vietnam because manpower costs might be slightly lower than, say, in Singapore and the developed markets like Japan and Korea. But the shift post-COVID becomes a need to have. And I think that's where we were a lot more focused in, moving the physical interaction to a digital interaction space. So I think to answer your questions, the difficulties that were challenges pre-COVID are becoming more negated, more negligible. For the travelers itself, I think it's getting used to the system, but where it's a full self-check-in hotel, for example, like the chain in Singapore that we're serving, many of them are really giving really good reviews. So the reviews for the hotels are 4.8 of 5, and many have been listed self-check-in as a good solution. One of the reasons that we see that is because many of them are returning guests. So that was actually the target audience of the hotel itself. If you're coming as a business traveler to the same hotel over and over again, you can do the self-check-in way in advance before you arrive. And that is actually the ultimate aim for us and why we serve service apartments as well as business hotels a lot better in our customer base, in our users.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.